British way, the weather has become somewhat changeable, but I'm not going to let that bring me down because yes, hello one and all, and welcome to Seen Through Glass. You find me in a Porsche 911 Speedster, and let's face it, I don't know when this is going to happen again, so I'm going to be making the most of today. I've actually had the keys to this car for a few days, and I've been trying to work out what I want to say about it, and the more and more I think about it, the more and more angry I've become. Let me pull over and explain. Well, welcome to the reality of filming cars in the winter in the UK. They just get covered in muck and grime in about 2 seconds. Actually, this car looks quite cool though, covered in mud. I can't want to drive around central London with the roof down and just dirt everywhere. Anyway, Porsche are going to be making 1,948 of these cars. And in comparison to previous Speedsters, that's quite a lot. I think the last one was the 997 generation. They only made 356 of them worldwide, but fundamentally less than 2,000 units around the globe. Still a pretty small number. Speedster is a very important and quite iconic name within the Porsche brand history. Collectors, aficionados, enthusiasts, petros just kind of go mad for them because, well, it's just cool, it's different and it's rare and it's cool, look at it. But because of the fact that they are so sought after, Porsche kind of reserved them for their most elite customers. You had to have bought, 15 Panameras or every GT car from the last 10 years in order to get a slot to order one of these from the factory. However, if I jump online and look at the used car market, there are currently 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 Speedsters online for sale right now. What? Now I realise you're probably thinking, so what? What do we care that there's loads of Speedsters for sale? It's a bit of a long-winded argument. I'm going to come back to that later. For now, let's focus on what this car actually is, because at its base, this is a 991.2 GT3 without a roof. Well, actually, it does have a roof. I think the initial concept car didn't have a roof, but then Porsche went, oh no, it must have the roof. So there's like a foldable one back there. Actually looks all right when it's up, and it's pretty easy to use. But fundamentally, Speedster life is about roof down life. And actually, Henry Catchpole summed it up really nicely in his review of this car over on Carfection. He said a standard convertible is a car you sometimes drive with the roof down, whilst a Speedster is a car that you very occasionally drive with the roof up. In my mind, 364 days of the year, you should be driving this thing with the roof down. So despite the fact it's getting increasingly grey and cold, I will keep the roof down. It's the proper, true experience, and what an experience. Think of this more like the GT3 Touring than the full-blooded GT3. We obviously don't have a big rear wing, and you could only have this car with a manual gearbox, but we still have that amazing 4-litre naturally aspirated flat 6 engine. It revs out to 9,000 RPM. I actually find it a bit unnerving driving these cars sometimes, because I'm always looking down at the rev counter instead of the road in front of me, being like, where's the red line? 0 to 60 is around 4 seconds, which doesn't sound that quick, but don't forget this is a 911 and they're often way more impressive than the stats suggest. This car actually also has 10 horsepower more than a standard GT3 because it weighs 50 kilos more than a standard GT3. That very nice looking foldable roof is a bit heavy, and can I say I can notice the weight? Maybe I'm just being pernickety, but I don't know, it doesn't feel necessarily as razor sharp and light as a proper full-blooded GT3, but that is not a bad thing, because the Speedster is all about a pure driving experience. This is not about setting Nürburgring lap times, and people out there will be saying, oh well, if you take the roof off any kind of track-focused car, it becomes pointless because track-focused cars need to be strong and rigid, and this is now flimsy. But no, this is not. It's not a poser's car. This car, it's a driver's car, and you all know I love the GT3 Touring. So imagine that with the roof down, so you can take in everything that's going on around you, and then of course the soundtrack. don't forget, this is an OPF car. You know, it's got that particulate filter, the thing that all of us are talking about so often at the moment, saying, oh, well, cars are never going to sound the same again. I mean, it's not really coming across with the microphone. I listened back to some clips earlier, but trust me, in here, it sounds great. I actually want to go and see a sort of ordinary GT3 to remind myself what they sound like, because I'm like, this is, in my mind, this is what a GT3 has always sounded like, but it must be sort of 6, 7, 8 tenths maybe as good a noise. I don't know. I need to compare them, but trust me on this. When you get going, the sound is not a problem, and as you come down through the gears, boy, is it engaging and exhilarating when you get on it. And this is the thing, for me, I'm gonna just throw a huge statement out there and say, this could be the perfect road driving experience. Honestly, if a GT3 Touring was already, well, I think I rated it 11 out of 10, this is 12 out of 10. Because by putting this roof down, you're just at one with the road. I'm being buffeted by the wind. I'm getting flies in my mouth, in my face. I'm being rained on. I can hear things, I can smell things. I'm on this journey with the car. I'm not driving or riding the car, I am the car. That's what it feels like. And therefore, it's so rewarding. 500 horsepower, I've said it for such a long time, is the perfect number to the rear wheels, through a manual gearbox, without a roof. I mean, it's a miserable day. Okay, fine, it's not raining right now. Might do in a second. And I'm still loving life. I feel like I'm in Corsica or the south of France or west coast of America because I'm just loving every single second of it. I hadn't even noticed the fact that my fingers are nearly going to fall off from frostbite. I promised myself I wasn't going to get carried away and throw out big statements going, this is just the dream, but it is. I think this could be my new dream car. That's no joke. Okay, fine, the Challenge Stradale remains up there. It's a car from a different era. But in terms of a new car, this is the car that you would wake yourself up to go and drive. You would set your alarm at 4 a.m. just so you could find some quiet roads. It's that thing, it implores you, it's calling you, Sam, my roof is down, let's go. And obviously earlier in the summer I filmed with Tino, Oak Green Metallic, and his high mileage GT3 Touring. And I said I can understand why you've gone so far in this car, because it's great, it's usable. And so is this. By having the foldable roof, it means you can use it on pretty much every occasion. Still got a big boot. This car has a slightly weird spec. It's got the comfort seats, which I think go against the kind of stripped back, lightweight nature of a Speedster. But it means it's really comfortable on a longer journey. And even though you've got this beautiful double bubble design behind you, these rear shelves are still accessible for bags or coats. I got my laptop bashing around back there today. So it's just a fantastic thing. As a thing, it should be it's celebrating driving. And you know, the 356 guys don't really like these cars, and they'll say that this looks nothing like or feels nothing like a Porsche. But for me, this is as close as Porsche have got to that Speedster ideology for a while. Because the 997 generation, it was essentially a 911 GTS. It wasn't that special, and it was big and it was bulbous. This, because it is a GT3, because it is so honed in and developed and finessed, and the ultimate driving machine, but then also you're accessing the elements. And I'm almost running out of things to say. I'll be honest, I've been struggling to put it into words. The one question I can't answer, and I'm going to pull over again in a second to have a bit more of a chat, is whether I would have this over a GT3 Touring, because it is essentially that car. So it is very familiar to me. I'm not experiencing anything new. It's just a heightened experience. And because I'm saying that, because it is heightened rather than a detraction, then yes, I would, because it's a better experience than a Touring. I genuinely believe that. And there were going to be some Touring owners out there being like, no, what are you on about? But you know me, I like to stir the pot every now and again. I like to be controversial. By the way, if you like controversy, go back and listen to a recent podcast I did with Tony, where we basically slagged off every fan favourite car made over the last 10 years. It's a controversial one. Anyway, for now, I need to find somewhere to pull over so we can go back to that point I made earlier of why on earth are so many of these for sale. I've just used the Magnitude Finance online calculator to look at financing one of these, and like hire purchase non-PCP, it's like $4,500 a month. So yeah, that's not happening for me anytime soon. But look, my big issue, my anger about so many of these cars being for sale is not aimed at individual owners. I get people buy and sell cars for different reasons, but it's more about the sort of perception that it gives that this car's maybe not that good. Because when you look at the used market, you see tons of delivery mileage or low mileage examples there. You kind of go, well, obviously it's just a bit crap. It can't be everyone trying to make a quick buck. Surely people just aren't enjoying it, and that's why they're selling it. But it's anything but that. The car is mega, in my opinion. Fair enough if you are a long existing Porsche customer that's had everything from 911Rs to GT2s. Maybe you do think this is a bit boring and bland, but I can't believe that is the case. And what's frustrating is in this day and age, we all seem to make these assumptions based on what we see on the internet. And look, I do this as well, and sometimes I'm to blame for this. Take the Ferrari 488, for example. Based on a few early sort of reviews and social media comments, people just like now assume that car sounds crap. Whether they've seen one, driven one, experienced one, they go, oh yeah, I'd always have a 458. Sounds better, doesn't it? But have you driven both back to back? Because, okay, it sounds different. I don't think it necessarily sounds worse. I actually quite like the way a 488 sounds. Maybe I'm just weird. But the issue being that I think people are going to assume that this was a bit of a failure because no one kept hold of them. They just moved on. Like, yep, let's just sell it. And as I say, I don't want to go into individual reasons as to why people might be doing that, but it upsets me because I would do very, very illegal things in order to be able to own one of these cars, to be able to order one of these cars from factory. Fingers crossed, if people keep selling them, the values will come down and one day maybe I could afford one. But imagine ordering one from factory in your own bespoke spec. It must be such an incredible experience, and it seems a shame that some of those opportunities are being wasted. But anyway, I hope you've enjoyed today's video. Give it a thumbs up if you have, and make sure you stay subscribed for plenty more videos to come.